Hi, friends. What if I told you a horror movie could leave you haunted not by ghosts, but by real traditions that still exist today? Lapachhapi isn't just scary, it's disturbing, powerful, and painfully true. A pregnant woman trapped in a remote village, a past soaked in blood, and a secret that refuses to stay buried. This film grips your soul and twists your mind. You won't believe what happens in the end. In the opening scene of the movie, we see a pregnant woman running through a field. As she runs, she suddenly falls to the ground. Then, three young boys appear and hand her a knife, saying that they want to play with her baby. The woman takes the knife and stabs herself in the stomach. The scene ends with a painful scream. The story then jumps ahead a few years. We now see a couple, Neha and Tushar, in a car. It is revealed that Neha is 8 months pregnant. The two are traveling out of the city with a man named Baurao, who is an acquaintance of Tushar's. They are on their way to his village. Baurao was ready to help them and had made arrangements for them to stay at his house in the village. Tushar had some unpaid loans and had gotten into a fight because of it. To escape the situation, he asked Baurao for help and decided to go to his village. Neha wasn't happy with Tushar's decision. She was 8 months pregnant, and they were running away at such a time. Also, Tushar trusted someone and agreed to go to his village without thinking much. After some time, they reached Baurao's village. Baurao drops them off near a field and starts explaining the way to his house. Meanwhile, a man shows up and starts staring at Neha in a strange way. Baurao scolds the man and sends him away, telling Neha that the man is a bit mentally unstable. From there, Tushar and Neha begin walking through the field toward Baurao's house, while Baurao goes to park the car. As they walk through the field, they lose their way a bit. Tushar tells Neha to sit and wait while he goes to find the correct path. After some time, when Tushar doesn't return, Neha becomes worried and starts looking for him. As she walks ahead, she sees an old house in the middle of the field. Neha goes inside to check, but the house seems empty. Just as she turns around, she finds an old lady standing behind her, laughing strangely at her. Right then, Tushar arrives and tells Neha that the lady's name is Tulsabai and she is Baurao's wife, and this is their house. In the evening, Baurao also comes there, and during dinner, Neha asks Tulsabai if they live in this house. Tulsabai replies that they actually moved out of this house 10 years ago and shifted to a new one. She says they opened this old house especially for Tushar and Neha. She also tells Neha that Baurao's younger brother, Kedarao, used to live here before, but after his death, they left the house. After dinner, Baurao and Tulsabai leave to go back to their own home, and Tulsabai says she will come back the next morning. The next morning, Neha wakes up and sees Tulsabai and Baurao outside the house. Tulsabai had already finished all the household chores, and Baurao tells Tushar and Neha to get ready because he was going to show them his fields that day. Neha gets ready and comes outside. While closing the door, she notices a window above their room. And on the other side of that window, there seemed to be another room. Curious, Neha goes to check it out. The room was located at the back of the house and was completely empty. While exploring the area, she notices that right in front of this room's door, there's a path leading toward the fields. Neha follows the path and reaches an old well, which looks quite strange and unsettling. That night, Tushar tells Neha that he has to go to the city for a day. Neha isn't happy about it because she'll be completely alone after he leaves. The next morning, Tulsabai tells Neha a strange story about a clever crow. The crow builds a nest on a tree and lays eggs in it. But after a few days, a snake comes by and sets its eyes on the crow's eggs. Nearby, a myna also lays eggs in her own nest. The clever crow secretly swaps its own eggs with the myna's. The next day, the snake eats the myna's eggs, thinking they're the crow's, and in this way, the crow's eggs are saved while the myna loses hers. Now, the real question is, why did Tulsabai tell Neha such an unusual and strange story? Anyway, the whole day, Tulsabai takes care of Neha, talks to her, and keeps her company. In the evening, she even gifts Neha a sari. Later that night, through a conversation between Tushar and Neha, we learn that Tushar is hoping for a baby boy. Neha tells him that it shouldn't matter whether it's a boy or a girl. What matters is that their child is a blessing in their lives. Outside, someone is secretly listening to their conversation. The next morning, Neha sees a woman outside breaking some branches, and this woman is none other than the same woman we saw in the opening scene of the movie. Before Neha could talk to the woman, Tulsabai arrives and tells her that the woman is Lakshmi, the wife of her younger son, Pratap Rao. She explains that Pratap no longer lives here and has moved to the city. Tulsabai further shares that Lakshmi went through a tragic incident during the 8th month of her pregnancy. Her baby suddenly died. Lakshmi went into deep shock and has been unable to speak. Throughout the day, Neha notices that Tulsabai isn't treating Lakshmi very well and seems to be behaving harshly toward her. And when Lakshmi was looking at Neha, it seemed as if she wanted to say something to her. Tulsabai notices Lakshmi's behavior and angrily sends her away. After night falls, Tulsabai also leaves. Later, Neha hears a knock at the main door. She goes to check, but there's no one there. Just as Neha turns around, we see a child running near the door. Hearing the child's voice, Neha follows him. The child keeps running ahead and disappears before Neha can reach him. At that moment, Tulsabai arrives and Neha tells her about what just happened. But instead of being concerned, Tulsabai gets angry and tells Neha that she shouldn't interact with any of the village children. Today, if she talks lovingly to one child, tomorrow 2 more will show up here. Neha finds this statement by Tulsabai very strange. In the middle of the night, Neha suddenly wakes up and sees that Tulsabai's bedding on the floor is empty. Suddenly, her eyes fall on her feet, where she sees Tulsabai quietly sitting near them, as if she was keeping watch over her. The next morning, Neha again sees the same child who had knocked on the door and run away the previous night. She follows him toward the room at the back of the house, where she sees him with 2 other children, listening to something on a radio. As soon as they notice Neha, the children run away. Neha picks up the radio, and through it, she hears a woman's voice. Just then, one of the 3 children touches Neha and runs off, and the kids start playing hide and seek with her. As Neha tries to catch them, the children hide behind a wall, and behind them, a ghostly figure is also seen. As soon as Neha arrives there, the child and the ghost disappear. Neha starts looking at the radio, and just then, Tulsabai comes there. Seeing the radio in Neha's hands, she gets angry and starts scolding her for mingling with the children, despite being told not to. Saying this, she snatches the radio from Neha and throws it away. Neha gets very angry at this. Just then, Tulsabai tells Neha that she is of no use because Tushar was hoping for a boy, but she is carrying a girl in her womb. Hurt by Tulsabai's rude behavior, Neha gets upset and shuts the door, locking herself inside. Before Neha can say anything when Tushar returns, Tulsabai starts speaking first. She tells Tushar that she has been taking care of Neha, but Neha behaved badly with her. Neha also tries to tell Tushar the truth, but he asks her to apologize to Tulsabai. Out of respect for her age, Neha apologizes. But as soon as Tulsabai leaves, Neha tells Tushar that Tulsabai is jealous of her baby because her own daughter-in-law was never able to become a mother. Neha then tells Tushar that they should leave this place right now, and Tushar agrees to go with her that very night. Both of them step outside with their luggage, but just then Bhavrav hits Tushar on the head, knocking him unconscious. Tulsabai also throws something at Neha, which makes her faint as well. When Neha slowly regains consciousness, she finds herself sitting in front of a ritual fire ceremony. Her clothes have been changed. She is now wearing the same sari that Tulsabai had gifted her earlier. A priest is also present there, and he is none other than the same man who had been staring at Neha that day when she and Tushar had first arrived at this place. The priest chants some mantras and then shows 3 fingers. After the fire ritual ends, Tulsabai ties Neha to the bed. Here, Tulsabai begins to tell Neha about something that happened a few years ago, when Bhavrav's younger brother, Kedarav, got married to a girl named Kaveri. At that time, Tulsabai had 4 children of her own. And this is where we learn the shocking truth. The 3 children who were seen playing with Neha were actually the ghosts of Tulsabai's dead children. Her eldest son, Prataprav, was the only one who had survived. Then Tulsabai tells Neha that ever since Kaveri had arrived, her children had become so close to Kaveri that they started considering her their real mother. Tulsabai didn't like this at all, and she told Bhavrav to ask Kedarav to talk to his wife and make her understand. Kedarav went to speak with Kaveri, but a heated argument broke out between them. When Bhavrav and Tulsabai reached the room, they saw a horrifying sight. Kaveri had killed Kedarav. And then using the same knife with which she stabbed Kedarav, Kaveri slit her own stomach and throat, ending her life. After that incident, a dark and ominous presence fell upon the house. One by one, Tulsabai's remaining 3 children jumped into a well and died. Sometime later, Tulsabai's eldest son, Prataprav, got married to a woman named Lakshmi. But during the 8th month of her pregnancy, Lakshmi became possessed by Kaveri's evil spirit, and her unborn baby died. After that, Tulsabai got her elder son Prataprav married 2 more times. But the same thing happened again. Both of his wives died during their pregnancies. Tulsabai then tells Neha that in order to remove Kaveri's evil presence from their house, she once took help from a tantric, a cult practitioner. He told her that if a woman who is 8 months pregnant stays in the house for 3 days and 3 nights, the evil spirit will leave. Neha finally realizes the real meaning behind the story Tulsabai had told her earlier about the crow and the snake. Just then, Neha faints again. The next morning when she wakes up, she starts looking for Tushar, but the entire house is empty. There was no one there. Neha steps outside and finds the same radio lying on the ground. Seeing it, she becomes frightened and rushes back into the room. Inside the room, she sees one of the 3 children sitting there. The child says something chilling to her. "The girl in your womb. They will take her too." Saying this, the child runs outside and Neha follows him. As she keeps chasing after him, she reaches the same place where she sees all 3 children standing near the well. Suddenly, the 3 children jump into the well. Neha rushes to the edge and looks inside, but there was no one there. She assumes it was just her imagination and starts looking for a way to get out of the place. But something strange happens no matter which path she takes. She keeps ending up at the same spot again and again. While trying to find a way out, evening falls, and Neha becomes very tired. Just then, she hears the voices of Bhavrav and Tulsabai. She quickly hides in the back room of the house. Surprisingly, the room wasn't empty this time. It was filled with tall grass. Neha hides in one of the patches of grass and notices that another woman is already hiding there. Just then, Bhavrav, Tulsabai, and another man enter the room and start searching for that other woman. They find the woman hiding there and burn her alive right in that room. But suddenly, everything disappears. The people, the fire, the woman, it all vanishes. Neha then realizes that she was having some kind of vision, and the room was actually completely empty the whole time. A moment later, she sees the same radio lying there again. As she starts listening to it, we see a horrifying sight. An almost completely burnt woman appears right next to Neha and whispers something into her ear. Neha is terrified and tries to run away from there. But it's no use. No matter where she goes, she ends up right back in the same place again. After trying to escape for a long time, Neha finally faints and collapses. The next morning, when she opens her eyes, she realizes that she hasn't eaten anything since the previous evening, something that could be harmful for her baby. Worried, she goes into a room and eats whatever food she can find to fill her stomach. While eating, she suddenly hears some strange noises from outside. Curious, she looks out the window, and what she sees shocks her. She witnesses the same incident shown in the movie's opening scene, Lakshmi slashing her own stomach with a knife. Right after that, 2 more women arrive and do the exact same thing, cutting open their own stomachs in the same horrifying way. And then, Tulsabai arrives there with her son Prataprav, and together they kill those 2 women. Neha now understands that everything she had been seeing was a series of visions, and that these visions were definitely connected to something deeper. Just then, the children appear again, and Neha follows them. Outside the house, she sees the same radio lying on the ground. From behind a wall, a pregnant woman appears. She's playing hide and seek with the children, and this woman is none other than Kaveri. While playing, Kaveri tells the children that she is not carrying a boy, but a girl. As she says this, Kaveri turns and looks directly at Neha. Here, Neha realizes that Kaveri was the same woman she had seen burning that day. Just then, Rav and Tulsabai appear and start shouting at Kaveri, saying that if she gives birth to a girl, she must die. They attack her, and suddenly, everything disappears right in front of Neha's eyes. Moments later, Neha sees Kaveri sitting quietly in front of the same room where she was burned alive. Kaveri hands Neha a knife and subtly gestures for her to kill her own baby too. But just then, Neha wakes up and we learn that after eating, she had fallen asleep and everything she saw was part of a dream. 2 days had passed, and on the morning of the final day, Neha sees Tulsabai standing in front of her. Tulsabai tells her that she has given birth to a girl, and that Prataprav is playing with her baby. Horrified, Neha runs outside and sees Prataprav near the well, holding her baby. Bhavrav, standing nearby, says that after the sacrifice, their harvest will be good this year. And right then, Prataprav throws Neha's baby into the well. Neha rushes toward the well, and when she looks inside, she sees not just her baby, but the bodies of several other little girls lying at the bottom. Suddenly, Neha snaps back to reality. She's still pregnant, and once again, she realizes that this was another terrifying vision. Neha runs from there, but while running, she feels a sharp pain in her stomach and, exhausted, she sits down. This scene mirrors the exact opening scene of the movie. Neha sits in the same way, just like before. Then, the 3 children appear and hand her the same knife. Neha refuses to harm her baby, but just then, Kaveri's ghost appears in front of her. She possesses Neha and forces her to stab her own stomach with the knife. Right after that, the screen fades to black. The next morning, the 3 days and 3 nights are finally completed. Tushar arrives and tells Neha that the ritual is now complete and that they have been set free. Tulsabai and Pavrov also come there. But this time, Neha isn't afraid of them. Instead, she begins telling Tulsabai a story. The truth had become clear to Neha. She had uncovered everything. She now reveals what really happened to Kaveri. Bavrov's family had been following a horrifying tradition for years in order to ensure a good harvest. They would sacrifice a newborn girl child every year. When Bavrov's younger brother Kedarov's wife, Kaveri, became pregnant, the family pressured her to kill the baby. But she refused because she truly wanted to bring her daughter into this world. Kedarov became violent and started hitting Kaveri. The 3 children witnessed this happening. Trying to save her, the children rushed to help. One of them handed Kaveri a knife for self-defense, while the others tried to fight off Kedarov. In the struggle, Kedarov accidentally fell onto the knife that Kaveri was holding and died. Shocked and scared, the children ran away from the scene. Just then, Tulsabai arrives and, seeing the knife in Kaveri's hand, assumes that Kaveri has killed Kedarov. Without knowing the full truth, Tulsabai rushes to inform her son, Prataprov, and her husband, Bavrov. Meanwhile, Kaveri, frightened, runs and hides in the back room of the house. From this point, we see the exact scene that Neha had seen in her vision. Tulsabai, Prataprov, and Bavrov come into the room and burn Kaveri alive. A few days later, the children who had begun to see Kaveri as a mother were devastated by her death. In grief, all 3 of them jumped into the well together, ending their lives. After that, Tulsabai got her son Prataprov married to Lakshmi. But Kaveri's spirit revealed the entire truth to Lakshmi and took control of her, asking her to kill her own baby. Otherwise, the family would sacrifice the child after birth. Later, Tulsabai got her son married 2 more times, but the same thing happened each time, just like before. And now comes the most shocking part of the story. Neha tells Tulsabai that she has figured out who Pratap really is because she saw him clearly in her vision. Pratap is none other than her own husband, Tushar. In reality, Tushar had trapped Neha. Once she became 8 months pregnant, he brought her to his village. Tulsabai and Pavrov tried everything they could to keep the truth hidden from Neha, so that the sacrifice could be completed without her knowing. But Kaveri's spirit revealed everything to Neha. Now, we once again see the scene where Kaveri asks Neha to kill her own baby. But this time, Neha looks at Kaveri and says that she wants to help her and give her the justice she deserves. She tells Kaveri that she now understands what really happened in this place, and Kaveri pauses, moved by Neha's words. Bavrov warns Neha to keep her mouth shut. He tells if she stays silent, they will let her live just like they did with Laksh. But if she dares to reveal the truth to anyone, they will kill her just like they did with Pratap's previous 2 wives. At that moment, we see Lakshmi standing near the window, overhearing everything. Neha, without caring about anyone, starts walking out of the house. Tushar, who is actually Pratap, chases after her, trying to kill her. But finally, Lakshmi, who had been silently witnessing and enduring all of this for years, attacks Tushar and kills. Then she rushes toward Bavrov and Tulsabai, ready to end them too. Meanwhile, Neha sees the path that leads out of the house, and the ghosts of the 3 children appear and guide her toward the right way. The movie ends right there. This film sheds light on a brutal truth that in some parts of the world, even today, the birth of a girl is seen as a curse. Many are silenced before they even take their first breath, either aborted or sacrificed in the name of tradition. It's a horrifying reminder of how deeply rooted gender bias still is in our world, where being born a girl can be considered a punishment and her life disposable. But Lapachhapi also carries a powerful message, one of strength, resistance, and hope. Women have endured in silence for generations, but when they rise, speak up, and stand together, they can break centuries of oppression and reclaim the dignity and freedom they deserve. If this story moved you, don't let it end here. Like, share, and subscribe to spread awareness through cinema. This is Cine Explained in English, where films speak louder than words. See you in the next one.